Hi there. If your book isn't selling the way you hoped, the problem might not be your cover. It might not be your blurb, and it might not even be your writing. It could be your metadata. Welcome to the Writing Lab with Eva Pohler. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of metadata and sales page optimization for your books. It's so important. It's really, metadata is the invisible engine behind discoverability on platforms like Amazon, Apple, Google Play, Kobo, Nook, or Barnes & Noble. And I want to show you how that you can optimize that metadata and your sales page information. So what is metadata? Well, it includes your title and subtitle, your series name and number, your categories, your keywords, your blurb and description, contributor info, and the pricing and format. And then you can kind of think of it as the SEO for books. And if you get it wrong, your book can become invisible, even if it's brilliantly written. So for titles, subtitles, you want to make sure that your genre is obvious to your reader. Readers have a couple of questions when they are thinking about buying a book. Will I like this book? And that's the main one they ask. Should I buy this book? Will I like this book? And genre is going to be the thing to help them because most readers favor certain genres. You want to avoid clever and vague titles. If you can come up with a really clever title, but if no one understands what the book's about, it's not going to sell. And you want to use subtitles strategically. There have been different advice about how to use subtitles. They used to recommend that you try to pack keywords into your subtitles, but nowadays they're saying that most algorithms don't favor that. If you're going to create a subtitle, I would just make it clear to your reader. Just more information about what your book is about so you can find the right reader. You want to make sure that you keep your series naming consistent so people can recognize if a book belongs to a particular series, and always number your books clearly, especially if the books need to be read in order. And your series metadata should match across all platforms so that readers aren't confused if they see it on Amazon and then go look for it on Barnes & Noble. Algorithms do love consistency, and so do readers. Now, with categories, visibility beats vanity. Instead of choosing categories that you think are the most competitive, you should do the opposite. I mean, the categories are really there to help the platform show the right books to the right readers. So you don't want to misplace your books. You don't want to misshelve them. You want to truly pick the right categories. But you also want, if you can, to try to also choose some less competitive categories where your book can rise up to the top of that category. Remember, your goal isn't to be number one in all books on Amazon, although that would be pretty cool. But you really want to be discoverable to the right readers. Now, when it comes to keywords, think like a reader. What will a reader put in a search bar to try to find your book? So you want to use phrases and not single words because that's what most readers are going to do. Think trope, genre, mood, vibe. Avoid repeating your title or author name across, it doesn't need to be in the category, in the keywords and in the blurb and in the, that's not necessary. And use all available keyword fields that you can because that is going to optimize the metadata right there. And so here's some examples of what I might put in my keywords. Cozy paranormal mystery with ghosts, or small town haunted house mystery, or Greek mythology romance retelling. Those are just examples of some of the keywords that I use. Now, on wide platforms, keyword descriptions often matter more than the hidden field. So your blurb does double duty. You want to make sure that that blurb sells your book. And here are some tips to try to make that happen. Create a strong hook in the first 1 to 2 lines and make the genre clear and the stakes high. Show the emotional payoff and try to use short paragraphs so that there's a lot of white space. It's just easier on a person's eyes to read it that way. Make sure that there's a clear promise to the reader. You want to avoid long summaries and character lists and over explaining the plot. You just are trying to get them to buy the book. You're trying to get them to, when they ask themselves the question, will I like this book? Your blurb should make the answer be yes, right? Or probably. And you want to make sure that you revisit your metadata every so often. Keywords can come and go in terms of fashion and trend. You might want to change them up or tweak them. You might find that the categories that you originally placed your books in, you're not seeing a lot of traction there. So you might try moving them to different categories. Try to refresh your blurbs if you find your books aren't selling. It could be that the blurb just isn't appealing enough. There are so many free resources about writing good blurbs online. So if you haven't already consulted some advice on this, you should. So anyway, your book doesn't just need to be written well to sell. It needs to be positioned well. And that's what metadata and sales pages do. It's kind of where art meets strategy. And when you get them right, you give your book the chance it deserves. So if you found this helpful, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, share it with your friends, and don't forget to grab my free resources in the description below. Happy writing.